My dear community members, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Welcome to the final evening of the Amath Federation Children and Youth Majalis for Arba'een of Imam Hussein alayhi salam for this year. We've had broadcasts like this over the past 4 nights, and it's been wonderful because we've had so many young people from our community participating through their recitations, their speeches, and in all sorts of other ways as well, as you'll see. So to start the program off, as is our tradition, we'll begin with some recitations from the Holy Quran. The first of our Quran Tilawat reciters for this evening will be Ale Abbas. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah, Brother Ale.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil. Thank you very much, Brother Ali. Our next reciter will be Fatima Sukra. So, Sister Fatima, if you could, there we go. Unmute yourself and Bismillah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Thank you very much, Sister. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Thank you very much, Sister, and thank you for everyone for joining in the salawat for her. That was great. So our next reciter will be Batul Fatima. Sister Batul Fatima.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الناس مالك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس صدق الله العلي العظيم.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Thank you very much. And we have Huda Lakhani next. Sister Huda Lakhani, it's your turn to recite. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لم يكن الذين كفروا من أهل الكتاب والمشركين منفكين حتى تأتيهم البينة رسول من الله يتلو صحفا مطهرة فيها كتب قيمة وما تفرق الذين أوتوا الكتاب إلا من بعد ما جاءتهم البينة وما أمروا إلا ليعبدوا الله مخلصين له الدين حنفاء ويقيموا الصلاة ويؤتوا الزكاة وذلك دين قيما إن الذين كفروا من أهل الكتاب والمشركين في نار جهنم خالدين أولئك هم شر البرية إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات أولئك هم خير البرية جزاؤهم عند ربهم جنات عدن تجري من تحت تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها أبدا رضي عنهم ورضي ذلك خشي ربه صدق الله العلي العظيم. سلوات.
اللهم صل
صل
على
على
محمد
محمد وآل محمد.
Sister Huda, you also have your cousin there with you. Would he like to recite something as well?
Can he read a Noha?
Certainly. Does he want to do that later when we do the Noha? Or now?
He can do right now.
All right. We can do that. No reason why not. Okay, what's your name, please, brother?
Hamza.
Oh, brother Hamza. Oh, very good. Well, if you'd like to read the Noha.
Salam.
Wa alaikum salam.
Abba salam tar, Abba salam tar, Abba ke zaban alam tar, Abba salam tar, Abba salam tar, Abba ke zaban alam tar. Yasir.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa Thank you very much, Sister Huda and Brother Hamza. That was great. So we have one more tilawat reciter who will be Sayyid Azan Zaidi.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدعو اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون صدق الله العظيم.
Allahumma salli ala
محمد
Muhammad
وجل فرجهم.
Thank you very much, Sayyid Azan Zaidi, for that recitation of Surah Al-Maun. Very nicely done. And so to continue our recitations, we would like to invite Basim Abbas to recite the Salam.
Rabbi Zidni Elman Olo increase my knowledge, please. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad
محمد
wa
وآل
ali
محمد وجل
Muhammad.
فرجهم.
هاد من نسله هاد من نسله هاد من نسله هاد من نسله هاد किसके के हम तेरो किसके के हाथ में नाज़िल्ला अकबर की ताकत है उनकी ताकत पर हमको ठहराओ ताकत से पर राजिया है ताकत Muhammad sallallahu alaihi God minana dalala hayhan minana sallallahu hadadi hadadi
Yeah. Charlie.
اللهم صل على محمد
اللهم صل على محمد.
محمد وآل محمد وجل فرجهم أجمعين.
Thank you very much, brother Basim Abbas. That was very enthusiastic there with your recitation. Very nicely done. And so next we'll have Hamza Nahdi, please.
Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad
اللهم
wa
صل
ala
على
Muhammad
محمد
wa
وآل
ala
محمد وجل فرجهم.
फातिमा सोहरा ने ये बाबा को देखा है। फातिमा सोहरा ने ये बाबा को लिखा है। बीमार हूँ मरती हूँ, बीमार हूँ मरती हूँ, ये सब तुमको पता है। फातिमा सोहरा ने ये बाबा को लिखा है। जिस रोज से देखा है मुहर्रम का नया चांद, ये कैसे लिखूं बाबा, ये कैसे लिखूं बाबा के दिल डूब गया है। फातिमा सोहरा ने ये बाबा को लिखा है। तुम जब से गए घर से ये घर कब्र है मेरी। मैं जिंदा हूँ ऐसे के, मैं जिंदा हूँ ऐसे के कोई लाश पड़ा है। फातिमा सोहरा ने ये बाबा को लिखा है। वादा तो किया वादा निभाने नहीं आए। बीमार से किस बात पे, बीमार से किस बात पे मुँह फेरे लिए है। फातिमा सोहरा ने ये बाबा को लिखा है। फातिमा सोहरा ने ये बाबा को लिखा है। सलावत।
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad
محمد
wa
وآل
ala
محمد
Muhammad
وجل فرجهم
wa
أجمعين.
ala Ajmain. Thank you very much, Brother Hamza. So our next recitation will be from the Kazmi brothers, inshallah. So if I could invite the Kazmi brothers to unmute and come forward.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Today we're going to recite a salam about Bibi Zainab telling her mother how her brother was slaughtered in Karbala.
Inshallah.
Today we're going to recite a salam about Bibi Zainab telling her mother how her brother was.
You're muted. There we go.
भाई भाई पुकारती रही मैं, फिर भी खंजर नहीं रुका। भाई भाई पुकारती रही मैं, फिर भी खंजर नहीं रुका। शिमरने की ऐसी गुस्ताखी, शिमरने की ऐसी गुस्ताखी मुझसे देखा नहीं गया। भाई भाई पुकारती रही मैं, फिर भी खंजर नहीं रुका। तुम जो जुल्फे सवार करती थी, उन्हीं जुल्फों में हाथ था उसका। जहाँ बोसे दिए थे ना, उसी गर्दन से खून टपकता था। सर शबीर शिमर ख़ैमे तक आ गया। भाई भाई पुकारती پھر بھی خنجر نہیں رکا، چاروں جانب سے گر رکھا تھا، تیرے نور نظر کو لشکر نے تیر برساتا تھا، کوئی اس پر کوئی پتھر سے مارتا تھا اسے، ریت زخموں پہ وہ گراتا رہا، جس کو پتھر نہیں ملا، بھائی بھائی پکارتی رہی میں، پھر بھی خنجر نہیں رکا، تیغ جس دم چوئی چلی اس پر، ہائے عباس کہہ کے رویا تھا، تیر پیشانی پہ لگا جس دم، ہائے اصغر زباں پہ آیا تھا، ہائے اکبر پکارا بھیا نے، جب بھی نیزہ کوئی لگا، بھائی بھائی پکارتی رہی میں، پھر بھی خنجر نہیں لگا، جب چلایا تھا شمر نے خنجر، میں نے آنکھوں سے اپنی دیکھا تھا، ہاتھ اپنے اٹھا کے پہلو سے سوکھے گلے پہ انگلیاں زخمی ہو گئی ہوں گی، ہاتھ مجھ سے تو نہ چھپا، بھائی بھائی پکارتی رہی میں، پھر بھی خنجر نہیں رکا، محمد صلوات
اللهم صل على محمد
محمد
وعجل
وعجل
فرجهم. Thank you very much. That was the Kazmi brothers. Thank you both for your recitation and for your participation throughout the program. You've been with us on previous evenings as well. And our next and final reciters will be the brothers Abbas, inshallah. We invite the brothers Abbas to come forward.
صلوات
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil faraj.
مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین، مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین، یا حسین حسین یا حسین، او عابد بیمار تھا، او عابد بیمار تھا، چلنے سے جو لاچار تھا، چلنے سے جو لاچار تھا، اور شام کا بازار تھا، اور شام کا بازار تھا، اور مصطفیٰ کی بیٹیا، مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین، مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین، یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین، شبیر کی وہ لاڈلی، شبیر کی وہ لاڈلی، سینے پہ جوش آ کے پلی، سینے پہ جوش آ کے پلی، جس کی ابا بننے چلی، جس کی ابا بننے چلی، منہ پر تماچوں کے نشان، مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین، مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین، یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین، پیاسے گلے خنجر تلے، پیاسے گلے خنجر تلے، چادر چنی خیمے جلے، چادر چنی خیمے جلے، عباس کے پرچم تلے، عباس کے پرچم تلے، رو کر کہے یہ بیبیا، مولا
Imam Ya Hasan Ya Hussein Mola Haq Imam Ya Hasan Ya Hussein Ya Hussein Ya Hussein Ya Hussein वो असगरे बेशियर था वो असगरे बेशियर था और हरमला का तीर था और हरमला का तीर था प्यासा गला क्यों करकटा प्यासा गला क्यों करकटा लर्जी जमीन और आसमान मौला हक इमाम या हसन या हुसैन मौला हक इमाम या हसन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन सलवात
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa
Muhammad
ali
wa ali
Muhammad. Thank you very much, Abbas brothers. That was great. Really good recitation there. To introduce the next part of the program and also for the theme for this evening's speeches, I would like to invite my co-host Zahra Hussain, inshallah.
So today's speech would be based on Fatima Sughra bint Hussain. She was the 8-year-old daughter of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. Before leaving Medina, Imam Hussain alayhi salam put his hand on Bibi Fatima Sughra's head and said, "When you were born, my dear, I named you after my mother Fatima Zahra. You know that your grandmother was also known as Sabira. I want you also to be a Sabira and agree to stay in Medina with Ummul Baneen and Salma and not join us in Gobla."
MashaAllah. Okay. So for the first of our speeches on this topic, I'd like to invite Said Azan Zaidi, who you heard recite a bit earlier. Thanks.
This revival's made my dad, so yeah, salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Muhammad wajid farajahum ajmain.
खलीफा फिल अर्ज़ खुदा की सवाबदिद है इंसानों के बनाए हुए को मैं नहीं मानता अना मदीनतुल इल्म व अली बाबुहा बुनियाद छत और दीवारों को मैं नहीं मानता हसन और हुसैन जवानाने जन्नत के सरदार हैं जन्नत के चरागों को मैं नहीं मानता छोड़कर जा रहा हूँ किताब उल्लाह व इतरती बाकी सही किताबों को मैं नहीं मानता मन कुंतो मौला फहाजा अली अन मौला के बाद बाकर 1 2 3 क्या बेशुमारों को मैं नहीं मानता सलावत
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Wajid farajahum ajmain.
Thank you very much, Said Azan Zaidi, for that speech. Sister Zahra, would you be able to say a few words just about the content of his speech for us English speakers?
It was a speech about the poetry that, like he said earlier, about what his dad wrote. It was speaking about Imam Hussain and his companion sacrifice with a very poetic words used. It was really insightful.
MashaAllah. Beautifully done. Thank you very much. And our next speaker will be Moez Kamran.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سورة فاتحة Assalamu alaikum, my fellow mu'mineen. All our praises are for Allah who made this beautiful universe, heaven, the sky, and earth. Then we praise to Holy Prophet Muhammad and all the Muslimin. Then we thank Allah for blessing us with the biggest blessing in this entire universe, which is Walayat Ali Amir al-Mu'mineen. Allahumma
salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Muhammad wajid farajahum ajmain.
My dear fellows, living in this world of sadness, sorrows, and some serious problems, we need continuous guidance. Prophet Muhammad said, I'm leaving you with 2 things, Quran and Restream. In Quran there's confirms this many times. For example, in Surah Luqman, ayahs 2 to 4, Allah said, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, Tika ayatu kitab hakim, hudaw wa rahmatu la muhsinin, allazina yuqimuna salata ويؤتون زكاة وهم بالآخرة هم توقنون. The translation is, these are the verses of the Book of Wisdom, the guidance and mercy of for the doers of goodness, those who keep up prayer and pay the poor rate, and they are certain of the hereafter. The Quran was revealed 1400 years ago, but this is a complete guidance for all us living any part of the world today. I'll insist to read at least 5 ayats of the Holy Quran with translation and tafsir every day. You'll feel the difference in your life and understanding towards the life, inshallah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajma'in.
As hadith of Prophet Muhammad I mentioned above, the second guidance we have is after Quran is Ahlul Bayt. From Ahlul Bayt we have our Imam of time in Ghiba, and we are waiting for him to come and fill this world with justice and peace, inshallah. Allahumma salli
ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil.
We need to make strong connections with our Imam while following the personalities of Ahlul Bayt. We have personalities like Hazrat Qasim, Hazrat Ali Akbar, Hazrat Abbas, and Janab Ali Asghar, who were indeed the family of the Holy Prophet, but they are not Masumeen, but gained the highest place of their loyalty and faith in the Imam of their time. Bibi Fatima Sughra bint Hussein was the 8-year-old daughter of the early Islamic Hussein ibn Ali. It is believed that the daughter was ill and left behind Medina when she took part of the Battle of Karbala. When everybody was preparing for the journey, Fatima Sughra was lying in bed too ill to even get up. No one was saying anything about her going. She decided to wait till her father's return. She lay on bed praying that her father would agree to take her. Ya Allah, do not separate me from my father. How can I live alone without my little brother Asghar? Ya Allah, let my father agree to take me with him. I do not want to be left alone in Medina. Whenever the child of the Bayt were troubled by anything, they took their problem to Hazrat Abbas. Sughra thought of her dear uncle, smiled hopefully, and sent for Abbas. Surely he would find a way to solve her problem. Abbas came in. It was accompanied by Ali Akbar. Sughra looked at them and said, I don't know how much you do love me. How can you even leave me and go away? If I die, who will bury me? They explained to her that she was too ill to travel and promised her that they would come and fetch her as soon as possible, as they had settled out somewhere else. Fatima Sughra said, I'll accept that. I do not wish to disobey my father. I'll be brave and stay here. She looked lovingly at her brother and added, Ali Akbar, promise me one thing, when after you get married and return to Medina and find Sughra gone, promise me that you and your bride will visit my grave and recite Fatiha. Akbar and Abbas could not control the tears, and as they said goodbye at dawn, the caravan departed. Supported by Salma on one side and al-Banin on the other, Sughra waved goodbye. It was difficult to part with Asghar, and both Imam Hussein and Bibi Rabab had to hold and console Sughra as she kissed her little brother goodbye. Until the caravan turned the corner, Imam kept looking back. He would bravely smile and wave to his daughter. Ali Akbar, of course, couldn't even do that because he was unable to control his tears. Then came the 9th of Muharram. For some reason, Sughra's restlessness increased. One night she got up and she felt a little thirsty. She filled a cup of water as she brought the cup to her lips. Sughra stared at the water and then screamed. The cup fell out of her hands. Salma came running. What is it, Sughra? Sughra was shaking with fear. She ran into the arms of Salma. Oh, grandmother, she cried, pointing at the cup. As I lifted the cup to my mouth, I saw Ali Asghar's reflection in the water. I saw him spread out his little arms towards me and then heard him speak. He was saying, Alatash, Ya Ukhti Fatima. I'm thirsty, oh my sister Fatima. Inna lillahi inna ilayhi raji'un. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa Thank you very much. That was Molly's camera. That was a great message for us as well. Some really good advice for our lives. Make the Quran and the Ahlul Bayt part of our lives, inshallah. So we've got another speech now from Muhammad Zaidan Hussein. Muhammad Zaidan Hussein.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا وعظيمنا وحبيب قلوبنا وشفيع نفوسنا أبا القاسم محمد اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد وجل فرجه وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين وأصحابه الغر الميامين الحمد لله الذي جعلنا من المتمسكين بولاية سيدي ومولاي علي بن أبي طالب اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم
الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله أما بعد هو علي بن أبي طالب Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Respected elders, brothers and sisters of Islam. Today I would like to say a short speech on Bibi Fatima Sughra. Bibi Fatima Sughra was 8 years old at the time of Karbala. She was the daughter of Imam Hussein alayhi salam and the beloved sister of Hazrat Ali Akbar and the daughter of Layla. Bibi Fatima Sughra could not go to Karbala because she was too sick and she was left in the care of her aunts Baneen and Salama. While the family of Rasulullah ﷺ went to sacrifice themselves for Islam. Before the family of Rasulullah had gone to Karbala, Bibi Fatima Sughra was lying down in bed and she really wanted to go to Karbala and didn't want to be separated from her father. Then she waited for a while and no one would tell Bibi Fatima Sughra that she would be coming to Karbala, so she was upset and then prayed for her father to take her to Karbala. And soon after that, Imam Hussein alayhi salam entered Bibi Fatima Sughra's tent room and she quickly got up from her bed and tried her best to look like she was not sick and was fine to go with Imam Hussein alayhi salam to the journey of Karbala. Then Imam Hussein alayhi salam sat down on the bed with Bibi Fatima Sughra and patted her on her head and said, "When you were born, I named you after my mother, Fatima Zahra. And you know your grandmother was known as Sabira, which means the patient one. I now want you to be like my mother and to be Sabira and agree to stay in Medina." And so Bibi Fatima Sughra was still upset and had to stay in Medina. After this, Bibi Fatima Sughra then called Hazrat Abul Fadl Abbas because whenever the children had problems, needs or wants, they would always go to Hazrat Abul Fadl. And then he entered with Hazrat Ali Akbar. And Hazrat Abbas then said, "We love you, Sughra, but you are too ill to travel." So then Bibi Fatima Sughra replied, "I do not wish to disobey my father's command, so I will stay here." Then the family of Ali Muhammad had departed from the journey of Karbala. Imam Hussein alayhi salam would look back and would wave to Bibi Fatima Sughra. But then But then Hazrat Ali Akbar would try to turn back to his sister, but he could not hold his tears. And same went for Imam Hussein alayhi salam. After it was now the 9th of Muharram and Ramadan had passed, and then Bibi Fatima Sugra was one day thirsty and went to fill up a cup of water, and then she looked down into the cup of water and screamed and threw the cup out of her hands. And then Salma had rushed to Bibi Fatima Sugra and had asked why she screamed. And then Bibi Fatima Sugra replied, when I went to drink the water, I saw my brother Ali Asghar, and he was saying, Al-Atash, 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 Ukhti Fatima. I am thirsty, oh my sister Fatima. And then when Bibi Fatima Sugra found out it was the 9th of Muharram, she started to cry. After the event of Karbala, all the Bibiya had returned from Sham, and the Kufa caravan was in front of the house. And then Banin opened the caravan and embraced all of the Bibiya. Then Banin saw a Bibi in the caravan and did not know who it was. She then asked, who are you, O Bibi? The Bibi in the caravan replied, saying, O Banin, do you not recognize me? It is me, Zainab. Banin then started to cry. And then she said, oh Zainab, what have they done to you? What have they done with your face? What have they done to your head covering? Then Bibi Fatima Sugra embraced all the Bibiya and then said, all of you have returned, but where is my father Aba Abdullah? Where is my uncle Abul Fadl Abbas? Where is my brother Ali Asghar? Where is my 4-year-old sister Bibi Sakina? Where is Qasim? Where is my aunt Zainab? Then Bibi Zainab replied, oh Sugra, this is me, your aunt Zainab. She then cried and said, what has the journey of Karbala done to you? And then one more thing, Bibi Sugra then tried to wipe her tears, but then she said on top of all that, she said, but where is my beloved brother Hazrat Ali Akbar? Then her aunt Zainab then said, it was good, O Sugra, that you did not come with us on this treacherous journey. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad.
Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa
Wajib
ajal
para
faraj.
judgment. Very much, Brother Muhammad. Saying that was a very sad narration that you gave there, and you spoke very eloquently. So thank you very much. And we do have one more speech. This one will be by Sayyid Ayan Zaidi, inshallah. Sayyid. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Surah Fatiha, please. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajal faraja.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Our hearts are filled with sadness and grief because we remember those martyrs who were killed in Karbala. We hold Majalis al-Hussein to mourn the death of Imam Hussein, his family and his companions. The word Majalis means seating where people gather and sit. In Majalis of Muharram, we recall the events of martyrdom of Imam Hussein, his family and his companions, and the hardship and suffering of those in his family who survived the tragedy of Karbala. The first Majlis al-Hussein was started by his sister, Bibi Zainab. As soon as they were set free by Yazid, since then all the Imams and Shias have continued the Majalis al-Hussein regularly. Why do we hold these Majlis? To thank Imam Hussein, his family and his companions for the great sacrifice in Karbala for saving us and Islam. We hold these Majalis because we love our Imam and feel sad to hear about his hardship and suffering in Karbala. And also to comfort and please Bibi Fatima, Imam Hussein's mother. Bibi Fatima comes to Majalis al-Hussein. Though we can't see her, she prays for us and our family's safety. She collects our tears, and when we cry for Imam Hussein and his family. On the day of judgment, she will remember those tears we have shed. These tears will protect us from the hellfire. I would like you to think about what I just said. Examine your deeds and see if they are good enough for you to face Bibi Fatima on the Day of Judgment. If you are not praying your wajib salah prayer regularly, how would you be able to face Bibi Fatima on the Day of Judgment? You have to come to the Majalis al Hussein because you are thankful for what Hussein did to save your religion. You cry and do matam for Hussein because you love him. If you really love someone, then you surely want to please him. How can you please Hussein if you're not praying salat regularly? Majalis al Hussein will continue till the Day of Judgment. It is not because of us. We are only the means through which Allah keeps Hussein's great sacrifice alive. Hussein died saving Allah's religion, and Allah has promised to keep Hussein's name and his great sacrifice till the Day of Judgment. Majlis al-Hussein, Matam al-Hussein. Enemies of Islam can never stop Majlis al-Matam. Even if they try thousands of times to do so. By Asr Ashur time, Hussein was left alone. The time had come for Hussein to go to the battlefield. Hussein said, Fi amallah to everyone. Hussein, with his sword, Zulfikar on his waist, mounted Zuljana his horse. Hussein rode his horse to a small mount, and then he called out loudly, Is there anyone to help me? Is there anyone to help the grandson of the Holy Prophet? With this call, the grandson of the Holy Prophet was giving one last chance to Yazid's men, the men who called them Muslims, the followers of the Holy Prophet, hypocrites. That's what the Yazid men were. No one answered Hussein's last call. But Hussein heard the sound of crying coming from his camp. Zainab said, My brother Hussein, when you called out, is there anyone to help me? Ali Asghar fell from his cradle. Hussein knew what Ali Asghar was trying to say. Hussein went to Rubab. Ali Asghar was on her lap. He was crying, and Rubab was trying to comfort him. Hussein picked up baby Ali Asghar and whispered in his ear. Ali Asghar stopped crying, and he looked up at his father and smiled. Rubab, I am taking Ali Asghar to the battlefield with me so I can get some water for him. What did Hussein whisper in Ali Asghar's ear? What made Ali Asghar stop crying and smile? Hussein had whispered. Imam Hussein carried Ali Asghar to the battlefield. It was very hot. Ali Asghar was thirsty. Hussein covered baby Ali Asghar with his abaya to protect him from the scorching sun. Yazid's men saw Hussein approaching with something in his hand. Look, Hussein's coming with the Quran. He has no one left with him to help him. With the help of the Quran, he is hoping to win. Hussein walked to Yazid's soldiers by moving his abaya. He uncovered Ali Asghar. He held Ali Asghar high with both of his hands and said, O soldiers of Yazid, you feel I offended you, but what has this little child done to you? His mother's milk has dried up. He has not had a drop of water for 3 days. He is dying of thirst. I beg you to give water to this innocent child. The soldier's fight was very effective. Little Ali Asghar was fighting jihad on his way. Umar Saad ordered his best archer. Hurmila, what are you waiting for? Silence the little child. Don't you know he is the grandson of Ali? Hurry, shoot your arrow before it's too late. The arrow went through Hussein's arm and lodged into the tiny neck of Ali Asghar. Ali Asghar died instantly. Allah.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad
محمد
wa ali
وآل محمد
Muhammad wa
وأجمعين.
ajma'in. That was one of the most incredibly sad events and moving events of Karbala, and I think it's very important and significant that you have narrated that and you've combined that with some very clear and powerful messages about what we're here for and the message that we need to take from this, and how we must work to please Bibi Fatima alayhi salam for our lives and our deeds. So that was a great speech. Thank you. And very sad. On that note, let us invite our first Noha reciter, Sayyid Zurain Abbas Jafari.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Bawafa ya Abbas, Bawafa ya Abbas, Bawafa ya Abbas, Bawafa ya Abbas, Bawafa Ghazi mein, Bawafa Ghazi mein, Bawafa Ghazi mein, Ghazi mein, Salam Ghazi, Salam Ghazi, Wafa ka tu hai, Imam Ghazi, Salam Ghazi, Salam Ghazi, Wafa ka tu hai, Imam Ghazi, Salam Ghazi, Salam Ghazi, Wafa ka tu hai, Imam Ghazi. जगह जगह है अलम कवाही, दिलों पे तेरी है बादशाही. जगह जगह है अलम कवाही, दिलों पे तेरी है बादशाही. लबों पे तेरा ही नाम गाजी, वफा का तू है इमाम गाजी. सलाम गाजी, सलाम गाजी, वफा का तू है इमाम गाजी. सलाम गाजी, सलाम गाजी, वफा का तू है इमाम गाजी. तेरे अलम का है हम पे साया, अलम पे साया है पंजतन का. तेरे अलम का है हम पे साया, अलम पे साया है पंजतन का. बुलंद तेरा मकाम गाजी, वफा का तू है इमाम गाजी. सलाम गाजी, सलाम गाजी, वफा का तू है इमाम गाजी. अलम का जब से हुआ है साया, ज़मीन करबो बला पे मौला. अलम का जब से हुआ है साया, ज़मीन करबो बला पे मौला. तेरा है चलता निजाम गाजी, वफा का तू है इमाम गाजी. सलाम गाजी, सलाम गाजी, वफा का तू है इमाम गाजी. तू बावफा है, तू लापता है, बेआसरों का तू आसरा है. तू बावफा है, तू लापता है, बेआसरों का तू आसरा है. जहाँ में चर्चा है आम गाजी, वफा का तू है इमाम गाजी. बावफा या अब्बास, बावफा या अब्बास, हुसैन मौला से प्यार करना, हुसैन पर जान निसार करना. हुसैन मौला से प्यार करना, हुसैन पर जान निसार करना. यही है तेरा पयाम गाजी, वफा का तू है इमाम गाजी. सलाम गाजी, सलाम गाजी, वफा का तू है इमाम गाजी. सलाम गाजी, सलाम गाजी, वफा का तू है इमाम गाजी. जो तेरे बाजू कलम न होते, असीर अहले हरम न होते. جو تیرے بازو کرم نہ ہوتے اسی اہل حرم نہ ہوتے جانا جاتی زینب یوں شام غازی وفا کا تو ہے امام غازی سلام غازی سلام غازی وفا کا تو ہے امام غازی
اللهم صل على
محمد وعلى محمد
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil faraj ajmain. Sorry, okay. Thank you very much, Said Sulain Abbas Jafari, for that great lamentation. Ibrahim Said, we will also recite Noha next, inshallah. Brother Ibrahim Said. Bismillah.
عالية الصغرى عالية الصغرى عالية الصغرى عالية الصغرى اصغر بن تیرے میں چین کہاں سے پاؤں اصغر بن تیرے میں چین کہاں سے پاؤں لوٹ کے آ جانا جی بھر کے ناز اٹھاؤں اصغر بن تیرے میں چین کہاں سے پاؤں میری آنکھ کا تارا ہے تو مجھ کو جان سے پیارا ہے ماں دکھیاری کے جینے کا تو ہی لال سہارا ہے تجھے چھوڑ کے تنہا مقتل میں کیسے شام کو جاؤں اصغر بن تیرے میں چین کہاں سے پاؤں اصغر بن تیرے میں چین کہاں سے پاؤں تیری وہ معصوم ادائیں تیری یاد دلاتی ہیں تیرے پیار کی ہو سب بات مجھ کو بہت رلاتی ہیں میں تیری جدائی میں بیٹا رو رو کے مر نہ جاؤں اصغر بن تیرے میں چین کہاں سے پاؤں بھول نہیں سکتی سے ہونٹ تیرے بیٹا خالی گود ہے اور زندان ہے آجا ماں کے ساتھ آجا آنند مجاہد میں تیری اشکوں سے پیاس بجھاؤں اصغر بن تیرے میں چین کہاں سے پاؤں کتنی ہے چین سکینہ تیرے ناز اٹھانے کو صبح و شام ترستی ہے وہ تیرا دل بہلانے کو تیری لاڈلی بہن سکینہ کا دل کیسے بہلاؤں اصغر بن تیرے میں چین کہاں سے پاؤں صلوات
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil faraj ajmain. Thank you very much, Said Ibrahim. And are those your brother and sister with you there, or?
Friends.
You're welcome. Did you want to just introduce your family members by their names?
Hazik and Ganva. And is my friend.
Oh, your friend. Oh, okay. Mashallah. Thank you very much. Okay. So this is wonderful. given us a very nice recitation there, a very nice lamentation. Next, we would like to invite Brother Akhil Haidar.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Can I do a short rubai before my noha?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
क्या जलवा करबला में थकाया हुसैन ने सजदे में जाके सर कटाया हुसैन ने या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन मेरा नाना नबी मेरा माँ सैयदा मेरा बाबा अली मेरा भाई हसन हम ही है पंजतन हम ही है पंजतन मेरी क्या है खता मेरी क्या है खता मेरी क्या है खता मेरी क्या है खता मुझ पे क्यों बंद करते हो पानी क्या मोहम्मद का प्यारा नहीं मुझ पे क्यों बंद करते हो पानी क्या मोहम्मद का प्यारा नहीं हूँ क्या मैं ज़हरा का जाया नहीं हूँ क्या मैं ज़हरा का जाया नहीं हूँ क्या मैं ज़हरा का जाया नहीं हूँ क्या नबी का नवासा नहीं हूँ मुझे क्यों बंद करते हो पानी क्या मोहम्मद का प्यारा नहीं हूँ मुझ पे क्यों बंद करते हो पानी क्या मोहम्मद का प्यारा नहीं मेरा नाना ने कलमा सिखाया और कुरान तुमको सुनाया मेरा नाना ने कलमा सिखाया और कुरान तुमको सुनाया क्या मैं नाना का साया नहीं हूँ क्या मैं नाना का साया नहीं हूँ क्या मैं नाना का साया नहीं हूँ क्या नबी का नवासा नहीं मुझ पे क्यों बंद करते हो पानी क्या मोहम्मद का प्यारा नहीं मुझ पे क्यों बंद करते हो पानी क्या मोहम्मद का प्यारा नहीं वो मदीना जहान मेरा घर है और मस्जिद में उस घर का डर है वो मदीना जहान मेरा घर है और मस्जिद में उस घर का डर है क्या मैं उस घर में खेला नहीं हूँ क्या मैं उस घर में खेला नहीं हूँ क्या मैं उस घर में खेला नहीं क्या नबी का नवासा नहीं मुझ पे क्यों बंद करते हो पानी क्या मोहम्मद का प्यारा नहीं मुझ पे क्यों बंद करते हो पानी क्या मोहम्मद का प्यारा नहीं चकिया पीसे कलमा ने पाला मुझको नाना ने झोला झुलाया चकिया पीसे कलमा ने पाला मुझको नाना ने झूला झुलाया अपना बचपन में भूला नहीं अपना बचपन में भूला नहीं अपना बचपन में भूला नहीं क्या नबी का नवासा नहीं मुझ पे क्यों बंद करते हो पानी क्या मोहम्मद का प्यारा नहीं मुझ पे क्यों बंद करते हो पानी क्या मोहम्मद का प्यारा नहीं सलवात
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil faraja ajmain. Thank you very much. That was Akhil Haidar. Thank you very much for your recitation. And we have one more Noha reciter for this evening and for the program, who will be Ashad Zaidi. So if we can invite Brother Ashad Zaidi, please.
जबरदा सर से चीनी मैं सदा देती रही तू ना आया गाजी जबरदा सर से चीनी मैं सदा देती रही तू ना आया गाजी आले इमरान कहा और जिंदान कहा ये बहन कैद हुई तू ना आया गाजी जबरदा सर चीनी मैं सदा देती रही तू ना आया गाजी हमको पानी ना मिले तेरी खुशबू तो रहे तेरे बाजू ना कटे शाह मुश्की जाजी दे ये मगर हो ना सका तेरे बाजू है जुदा मुझ पे है तशना लगी तू ना गाजी जब सर से चीनी मैं सदा देती रही तू ना गाजी धूप में तू था शजर तुझसे आबाद था घर है बहना मेरा सर क्या नहीं तुझको खबर ए अलमदार वफा इस बहन को बाहुदा तुझसे धार सी बड़ी तू ना सी जबरदा सर से चीनी मैं सदा देती रही तू ना गाजी आ गई शाम आलम लुट गए अहले हरम रेत पर जलती हुई हो गया ठंडा आलम फुर्सत देने के लिए मुझसे मिलने के लिए आ गए बाबा अली तू ना गाजी जबरदा सर से छीनी मैं सदा देती रही तू ना गाजी क्या कहूँ शेर मेरे बेरिदा हमको ही ये मुसलमान सारे शहर दर शहर गए खिलकते कूफा कभी खिलकते शाम कभी और हाँ हम पे हंसी तू ना गाजी जबरदा सर से चीनी मैं सदा देती रही तू ना गाजी कैद खाने में कज़ा जब सकीना को मिली देखे कुर्ते का कफन बच्ची दफनाई गई उस घड़ी नाम तेरा सूरत नाद अली और मैं रोती रही तू ना गाजी जबरदा सर से छीनी मैं सदा देती रही तू ना गाजी जबरदा सर से छीनी मैं सदा देती रही तू ना गाजी सलावत
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم أجمعين. Thank you very much. That was Brother Ashad Zaidi, and that was the last of our Noha reciters. I think we just have time, hopefully before the time of the Adhan, for our Ziyarat reciter for this evening. And our Ziyarat reciter for this evening will be Arham Raza.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليك يا نبي الله السلام عليك يا رسول الله السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة النساء العالمين السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى السلام عليك يا حسين الشهيد السلام عليك يا أبا الفضل العباس بن أمير المؤمنين السلام عليك يا فاطمة بنت يزيد السلام عليك يا زينب بنت كلثوم يا سكينة يا رقية يا كبرى يا سرقة يا فزة السلام عليكم يا شهيداني كربلاء وارسياني كربلاء السلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام عليك يا زين العابدين السلام عليك يا محمد بن علي بن بكر السلام عليك يا جعفر بن محمد الصادق السلام عليك يا موسى بن جعفر الكاظم السلام عليك يا علي بن موسى السلام عليك يا غريب الغربة السلام عليك يا معين الضعفاء والفقراء السلام عليك يا شمس الشمس وعلى نيس النفوس السلام عليك يا سلطان العربي والعجم يا بلحسن يا علي بن موسى رضا ورحمة الله وبركاته والسلام عليك يا محمد بن علي الجواد التقي السلام عليك يا علي بن محمد الهادي النقي السلام عليك يا حسن بن علي العسكري السلام عليك يا سارس والزمان الأمان 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 من منة الزمان السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن السلام عليك يا مظهر الإيمان السلام عليك يا إمام زماننا هذا أجل الله تعالى مخرجك وظهورك وجعلنا من أنصارك وأعوانك السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين السلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد Thank you very much. And so we'll conclude the recitations now. Just before the Adhan, we've got a minute left with the recitation of Dua al-Faraj, inshallah. So for that, I would like to invite Asfa Hamadia. Asfa Hamadia.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم كل وليك الحجة بن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليا وعينا حتى كستنا وارزقنا تقوى وتمتع فيها طويلة برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرج أجمعين. Thank you very much. That was nicely done. So that's all of our reciters for this evening. I will now, because the time of the Adhan is upon us, just invite our Muazzin for this evening, who will be
Alif Mavad.
Alif Mavad, inshallah. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah, Brother Alif Mavad.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن علي ولي الله أشهد أن علي ولي الله هيا على السلام هيا على السلام هيا على الفلاح هيا على الفلاح هيا على خير العمل هيا على خير العمل الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله سلفا لا إله إلا الله سلفا
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى
محمد
محمد وعجل فرجهم. Thank you so much. And that concludes all of our recitations for this evening. So we'll just have like a brief conclusion to the program, and then we'll proceed to our Maghrib namaz, inshallah. So as part of that, Sister Zahra Hussein, firstly, have we had more entries to the draw for Hussein? Yes, you're showing some now.
Yes, so today was the last day to submit all the Draw for Hussein pieces. So this was drawn by Raza, age 7, and these are in his words exactly. Bibi Sugra is ill and she dreams of her father. Then she turns into a superhero and saves her father, Imam Hussein alayhi salam, on the plains of Karbala. And Bibi Sugra and Imam Hussein alayhi salam reunite again on the Day of Judgment. The blue is the hammer of the judgment. So it's really an insightful detail of the perspective of Bibi Sugra alayhi salam and what she couldn't do in the Battle of Karbala. And it's really creative. Well done, Raza.
Yeah. That's great.
This was drawn by Ali Asghar and Sakina Ali. We are not like the people of Kufa. We want to help the Hussein of our time, which indicates that they want to help Imam Mahdi alayhi salam. Labbaik ya Hussein, labbaik ya Hussein.
Labbaik ya Hussein. Absolutely.
This was also drawn by Ali Asghar and Sakina Ali. So it is the dome of Imam Hussein alayhi salam with his flag bearing. And this was the last sketch by Sarah Fatima, age 12, which is of the tents and the horses around them, obviously in the battlefield of Karbala.
Oh, mashallah. I love that, the contrast in the black and white. It looks quite striking.
Yeah, she used the fine art pen.
Ah, nice. Very nice.
So to conclude these majlis, this is a brief infographic of what Arbaeen basically is. So it all starts with the morning period. The day of Arbaeen marks 40 days after the day of Ashura, the day Imam Hussein alayhi salam was martyred in the Battle of Karbala. Literally meaning 40, the event signifies the end of a 40-day mourning period for the grandson of the Prophet of Islam, peace be upon him, as well as his family members and companions. Karbala. The events of Karbala reflects the collision of good versus the evil, the virtues versus the wicked, and the collision of Imam Hussein alayhi salam as the head of virtue versus Yazid, the head of evil. Imam Hussein alayhi salam was a revolutionary leader, a righteous man, a religious authority, and the Imam of the Muslim Ummah at that time. Honor and dignity. Yazid wanted Imam Hussein to acknowledge his role and give credibility to his corrupt leadership. However, Imam Hussein refused to do so based on his moral values and principles, and was killed along with his companions, holding on to their honor and dignity. Legacy. Imam Hussein may have died physically, but his legacy lived on. His sister, Bibi Zainab alayhi salam, and his son, Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam, both gave powerful speeches against Yazid in front of his ministers, calling him out for his corrupt regime and unnerving Yazid's ministers. The message. Yazid eventually realized that if he left the family of Imam Hussein alayhi salam at his place, they would humiliate him in front of his ministers even further, and was forced to free them. The family of Imam Hussein alayhi salam would spend their lives after the Battle of Karbala teaching people about Imam Hussein's message and his stand against corruption, which obviously inspired the Ummah to stand up against oppression. The day of Arbaeen. It is said that the day of Arbaeen is the day of which Imam Hussein alayhi salam's family returned to the land of Karbala to properly bid farewell to the fallen heroes and finally grieve for their loved ones. Arbaeen falls annually on the 20th of Safar, the second month of the lunar-based Islamic calendar. Millions. Shia Muslims start the pilgrimage to Karbala in the days and weeks preceding the actual day. On arriving in Karbala on the day of Arbaeen, Shia Muslims recite a prayer called Ziyarat Ashura. Every year since, the number has been rising steadily, from 17 million pilgrims to at least 25 million. World-breaking. Countless volunteers distribute free food and drinks to those undertaking the pilgrimage, as well as offering places to relax, wash, and sleep. It is the largest annual peaceful gathering in the world, with numbers set to increase significantly every year.
MashaAllah. So over the course of these evenings, and for those of you who have joined us not only for this program but also for the 10 days of first 10 days of Muharram, 10 nights of Muharram, you would have had, I think, a very good overview of all of those things, because we've looked at the events through the lens, if you like, of each of the people, the key people who were involved, Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and each of his key family members and companions. So hopefully this has been a great refresher for those who are already familiar with these events on the history and the events, and also provided more insights into them as we commemorate these things. It's very important that we keep the memory of these events alive, because they are so central to what our beliefs are based on, and our values and our message and our unity as a Muslim ummah, and as Shia creed members. So this is very important. So on that note, and with that message in mind, I must give a final word of thanks to each of our participants. It's been absolutely amazing, the number of young people who have participated in this, and also the quality and the enthusiasm with which they have done so. So we're very, very grateful to that, those young people who have done that. And also those, of course, who have sent in drawings and participated in the Draw for Hussein and in all of the different activities and programs. We also had the Sabil of Imam Hussein alayhi salam over the last few days, which is now concluded, and that's also been a great success, I'm told. So that's been absolutely wonderful. I must also express my gratitude to those who have been involved behind the scenes organising this, in particular Amati Batul Gulani, our leader and founder of our organisation, and Sister Sadaf Sarwa, who has been a key organising person, who has been helping all of these participants and their families to collaborate and be in the right place at the right time, and all of those things which are so challenging, especially when we are all in lockdown, organising this during a pandemic. So it's a great achievement for all involved. And thanks once again to all of you who have been viewing these online, through the video streaming, on the TV broadcasts, and through every other medium. If you've missed it, please watch the videos of the previous nights. I think you'll find them very beneficial, inshallah. So on that note, we must end the program now. It's time for your Maghrib namaz. So, Khuda Hafiz.
Khuda Hafiz.
Khuda Hafiz. Allah Hafiz. Khuda Hafiz.
Khuda Hafiz.